For now, let's cross over back to the Intercontinental, where the Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i is addressing the law and order and governance sector stakeholders meeting.
A speech that the President made to the National Defense Council some time back, where the President has constantly articulated the grand objective of building one nation, one Kenya, where we work together, the focus being providing safety and security to the Kenyan people. When that is the focus, then the positions we hold, the perspectives from which we come, do not matter. What matters is achieving the objective of providing security and safety to the people of Kenya. And that then calls upon all of us to reason together, to work together, to deal with facts as they are, not to look at each other as enemies. I dare say to you, and as usual, I will, I'll just say it all bluntly. The challenges we have, half of them will be solved if we change attitude. Half the challenges we have will be dealt with once we deal with attitude. And let me demonstrate to you how we ourselves as the executive branch of government are changing attitude. No one has sued us more than Katiba Institute. And they are in this room this morning with us. And I am willing to meet them. My good friend there, we shake hands. Where we disagree, I want us to talk. We are sued all the time by all these good people. My friend Irungu Horton here, occasionally we agree, in most cases we don't agree. But I spend time with him so that I can understand his perspective and he can understand my perspective so that we can move the country forward, especially in the security sector. And therefore I want to urge you, first of all as a citizen of this country and all of you as citizens of our great country, that time is here for us to change our attitude in the manner in which we work. Let us work together, reason together, come together for the good of our country. What that means in practical terms is that for those of us who are taking decisions, whether we are at the Ministry of Interior or the National Police Service, when our colleagues from civil society and our colleagues from IPOA and other agencies speak to us, they are not doing so because they hate us. They are raising issues because they want us to make changes that are good for the country. And so we do not ignore or denigrate what they tell us. We listen to them and we work with them on those facts. What that means also is that for our colleagues in civil society and for our colleagues in the non-state acting agencies, we also need to walk away from what for a long time has existed as a populist, stereotypical way of looking at police, for example. The police are the ultimate sinners. All sinners are in the police force and all holy people are elsewhere. It doesn't work that way. Because you see, that's the common thing, that police are sinners. Anything you can think of. That's why I was saying earlier that, why is it that we spend so much time talking about police brutality and we have never spoken about civilians' brutality? And I've said this, let me repeat it again here today to us. To be very honest with you, from the bottom of my heart, nothing pains me, and I didn't encounter this until I came to the Ministry of Interior. I never encountered this in my public life until, the President appointed me CS Interior. It pains me. It's one of those days that you go home. I thought I was seeing more painful things elsewhere, but when I came to the Ministry of Interior, let me tell you guys, to meet widows of young police officers who have been killed. You see, going to meet widows of those young police officers who have been killed. Some of these young police officers who graduate, we post them to work, and then they are killed. In some cases, one time we lost 15 of them. In another case, we lost police officers in Laikipia who were not even in an operation. They are actually just gone to pitch camp to start preparing where they will operate from and prepare to support efforts against anti-stock theft unit in Laikipia. And they were ambushed, a whole lot of them, including their commander, and they were killed. To meet the widows of these young families is pain that you cannot describe as a human being. And then all this in the hands of crime. To see police officers who are killed by criminals and so on. Why is it that we are quick to talk about, these things and we don't address the pain that these police officers go through? The cost of providing security is not as easy as we think it is. That's why I'm challenging my colleagues who are here from civil society, that now is the time for all of us to step up efforts and educate our people on how they can enjoy their rights without hurting others, so that the police have got less work to do in the long run. Let's build a community that looks out for each other. And when we have disputes, let's deal with them as one people. The dichotomy between us in the security sector and others would change once we start with a change of attitude and engage. And therefore, I promise you, I have made this promise before. I did in April when we inaugurated our consultative policing forum, and I want to repeat it again in the presence of our colleagues from IPOA who have joined the team today. I promise you that from our end in the Ministry of Interior, from now forward, we will always maintain a genuinely open mind, a genuinely open door. We will listen to each other because it's good for our country, so that we reduce the amount of time and negative energy that is spent on criticizing each other and so on, so that we start building each other and building the security sector. We welcome the proposals that we have received, and truth be told, actually, PS Kibicho chairs our police reform technical team, and he knows this. We have taken on board the comments and ideas we get from IPOA, what our colleagues from civil society tell us, Kiema and his team. We reason with you, and I want to tell you sincerely, we will continue to listen to each other and to move forward, because this country belongs to all of us, and we want to move in that direction together. So let's all do a responsible thing. Where there are issues, let's put them on the table and discuss them very openly. And then sometimes let us also avoid, going overboard on these kinds of issues. For example, I have listened times without number, and of course we are public officers. We cannot discriminate against who speaks to us and so on. Members of Parliament have come to our office in the boardroom, brought me lists, and people come and say, "Oh, Mr. Minister, these people were killed, extrajudicial killings." One time, I actually took the names I was given and sat down. It's about 3 or 4 months ago, and called the agencies, and we sat down with people and walked down the list that I was given. And I told people the other day, of the 13 names that I was given, 9 of them were died in the course of where our own police officers died in the process. Others were killed, when they crossed over the border to Somalia. But all those things are lumped on the police. It's the police in Kenya who have done this and so on. I am not denying, and let me tell you, I do not want to be a presumptuous public servant who says things because they are politically correct. It is also true that actually in our ranks we could be having officers or individuals who commit mistakes. I am the first one to admit to you that yes, in our numbers we also have colleagues who actually do not behave right. We will not defend them, and we will not hide from that reality. The IG can tell you here himself. There are cases where I have picked up the phone myself after I've received certain complaints and demanded from the IG, we've got to get to the bottom of this matter and sort it out. I was in Kilifi last week, to give you a practical example. When the women rep in Kilifi walked up to me and said, we're investigating a case where a police officer was involved in rape in a police station, we think nothing has been done and so on. Right there, I called the regional commander, the county commander, the regional commissioner, and everybody. We sat together. I asked them, are you aware of the case that the honorable member is raising? They said, oh, we are aware of it, but we are trying to investigate. I said, look, where is the officer involved? We are trying to have orderly room proceedings. I said, you can't have orderly room proceedings until he is disarmed, arrested, locked up, and we begin investigation. And do that today. I moved aside, I called the Inspector General. The Inspector General said, that is the way it's going to happen. And the investigations continued. Because you see, the truth of the matter is this. Someone who rapes is basically a criminal, whether they are wearing our uniform or not. We can't defend them because they are wearing our uniform. They know under the standing orders they're not supposed to be doing that. They know that is not right. And we, as responsible public servants, cannot defend that. So we work together in cases where we will actually have similar situations like those ones I dealt with in Kilifi. We will rise up to the occasion and do the right thing. And I want to tell you this, my colleagues. I have a slightly different opinion from my good friend, the chair of the Security Committee. He painted a very apocalyptic picture. You are going to be harassed, you won't be liked, people don't like you. listen, look for Mr. Machari and Jeru. He will tell you. I would like actually to work with you in cases that are supposed to be investigated among us, the police. When you send the document to the Inspector General, give me a copy also. We work together. You will have support from us. Your work is not going to be difficult. It is going to be easy because we are going to work together with you. And we will support you with all these people. And we are going to do it in the sun, in the open. Because those days are gone. And you see his evidence. You are hardly 3 months old and we are all together. The IG has even been to your office. I have been with you and I'm going to come to your office next week so that you tell me how we are going to move forward on the work that we are doing for the country. We must build this country forward. I want us to carry on with the attitude our president has demonstrated to us, that these things are possible. We can actually move our country forward when we talk to one another. Kama kuna shida, tunazungumza pamoja and we move forward. So whatever support you need from us, you will get within the law and we will support you. Our Inspector General is completely open-minded and ready. Those cases of investigation, but you know, there is only one catch. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters. Let us not talk. That's not to find a kazi. It's as simple as that. Let's work. And I want us to publish data. Nataka kila mtu ajue how many cases are being investigated, how many have we successfully investigated. Because if you tell me we have about 900 reports and about 700 of them have not been investigated, we have issues. That is it. So let me know why we have not investigated so many and where the problem is. Kama kuna shida, tutaongea na ndugu yetu hapa Inspector General. We support you to investigate all those cases. We will not walk back on this. It's a responsibility we have been given. We will do it very openly and very sincerely, as it were. And the cases where for sure it is possible that there somebody has killed someone in circumstances that are not, understandable. Just this morning, I hope I am not even revealing, anything I shouldn't. I did. Just this morning, IG and I have just spoken about a police officer who shot someone dead last night, and we have agreed that after our team looked at the evidence and so on, IG and I discussed the matter this morning at 7 o'clock and agreed this thing doesn't make sense. Disarm the officer, arrest him. Let's proceed. You see, the question is, where there is genuine, this is an incident that happened in Kiambu last night. And you see, between then and now, we've moved on this. Let us also refrain from the habit of, condemning police officers, even when, honestly speaking, they haven't done what we are accusing them of doing. But where there are cases where we believe wrongs have been committed, let us also honestly investigate them and pursue those cases to the end, as it were. The grand objective must not be forgotten, that we are one country, we are one nation as we move forward, and we are going to move forward.
Listening in to the CS for Interior Fred Matiang'i, even as he addresses a stakeholders meeting in the law and order governance sector, and the primary subject is enforcing law and order. And also in our meeting earlier on, we were informed that there was some announcement that was made by the IG, who said new housing allowances for police have been approved and will start next month, and new uniforms will also be given as had been directed by the president. And also there will be new commanding structures for the police which have been finalized and will be published soon.